Hello and welcome. This is the DNA presentation for the Mannion Clan 2021 Virtual Gathering. The slide presentation begins here. This presentation is part of the 2021 Mannion Clan Virtual Gathering. It will be a discussion based on the Mannion Clan members who have done a DNA test. Hopefully this will interest those who have Mannion ancestry and might also do a DNA test. The presentation focuses on the results from those with Mannion ancestry that have joined the Mannion Surname Project at Family Tree DNA. And of course, this presentation was prepared by myself, Jim Hollarn. One of the advantages of working with the Mannion Surname Project is its maturity. As of August 2021, the Mannion Surname Project is 5 years old. Great progress has been made for Mannion descendants to confirm and reveal more of their personal ancestry and identify genetic relatives within the project. This surname project update is not to inform about human DNA or to tell anyone how to do their ancestry and DNA research. It is to provide an overview and an update on the state and progress of results in the project. As you can see from this graphic by Dr. Gleason, Y-DNA only follows the paternal path. Mitochondrial DNA follows only the mother's path, and the autosomal DNA is a mix, providing traceable DNA roughly out to 4 to 6 generations for all ancestors. I would mention there is no single test to reveal all 3 parts of your DNA and matches. The DNA sample is all the same, but the processing, sequencing, display of results, and tools for each type of DNA will vary. Most companies do autosomal testing and display their own tailored results. ATDNA testing processes your 22 autosomes along with the sex chromosome and provides matches and ethnicity results based on proprietary models. Then the added features for each company are a bit different. They do not all provide Y-DNA or mitochondrial DNA results. Family Tree DNA is the only one, if tested, providing detailed Y-DNA results and mitochondrial DNA matches and results. Family Tree DNA provides all 3 tests and a way for those test results to be presented in the Mannion Surname Project. Membership in the Mannion Surname Project has grown steadily since its launch in 2016. You can see there have been 2 major periods of growth coinciding with the Mannion Clan Gatherings of 2016 and 2018, and otherwise less dramatic but steady growth since. Hopefully there will be some new growth with 2021. Member referrals for others to join are always helpful. There is plenty of opportunities for others to join and learn from their DNA results within the project. We hope we would gain some additional members now that we've launched also the Mannion Clan Genealogy and DNA Facebook group. Members of the biggest family tree who have also tested or would test would be most welcome to join and become members so that we might all learn more. There is a description of the Mannion Surname Project on the internet available to the public, but to belong to the Mannion Surname Project, the membership requires a DNA test. And so Family Tree has all the different tests available, and if you've tested at another company, you're welcome to transfer your results for free and get all your matches there. And then either by ordering a test or a transfer, a new member can join the Mannion Surname Project and others if desired. And here is a link to find more information about the Surname Project at Family Tree DNA. Here on this slide is an outline of what will be covered in the remainder of the presentation. There are a good number of resources on the internet if interested in the science of DNA. In addition, this update is intended to be an overview and will not discuss any individual results. I will go through the tests that members have taken and the results in summary. Feel free to ask a project admin if you're looking for help with your results, and we will do our best to respond. Besides recent ancestry, Y-DNA gives us a better understanding of the medieval period and clan connectivity. The project can only compare results for those who have tested and joined the project. There are many men who might test that would further our understanding of how members are related to each other and then identify their branch within the Mannion clan. If someone is tested with the same ancestor, ask an admin for advice before ordering a test. This slide illustrates the nomenclature and diversity of Y haplogroups that evolved out of Africa. Note haplogroup R1b, still a major and old subclade, can be noted in France, and haplogroup I1, primarily in Scandinavia, starting about 10,000 years ago. So there is more to learn with testing for more recent branching. While it was illustrated earlier, just a reminder, Y-DNA follows the paternal father-to-father genetic lines back for centuries, regardless of the surname held. Y-DNA mutations occur over time, which results in traceable branches. In medieval times, Fergus, circa 970, was the first Sogan king to adopt the Mannion or Mannion surname. While many joined the clan or inherited the Mannion or Mannion with one end surname, we cannot trace all Mannion back to the same progenitor. While Mannions with the same genetic Y signature can be estimated back to a common ancestor, it's not possible to identify every generation, but the connecting and descending branches can be determined. DNA results cannot determine when any branch may have joined the Mannion clan, and we may not be able to estimate when any ancestor adopted the Mannion surname. Because Y-DNA can be traced before surnames, we are most interested in the haplogroups, haplotypes, subclades we can trace into the surname area, which is roughly 1000 AD. To date, the clan with the largest number of members share the M222 haplogroup, which we identify with Nile of the Nine Hostages and his kin. Currently, there are 27 members who have tested positive for the haplogroup or SNP and the SNPs below M222. And for those that know their most distant ancestor location, they are centered around Menlok and Abinakmoy, the traditional clan chieftain area. The window on this slide is from the Mannion Surname Project public results, which can be consulted online. Based on comparing Y-test single tandem repeats and the SNP single nucleotide polymorphism results, I've been able to group members who are most closely related. There are some Mannion Project members who have the associated SDR profile and have not tested to confirm that ancestry more recently than M269, which is around circa 4400 AD. So I'm hopeful they will upgrade their test results. This slide shows that other Mannions fall into three different haplogroups below M269. These descendants of their ancestors have developed with mutations to define their own groups and branches. They also represent small samples where more Mannion men testing and upgrades are desirable. First, there are 11 Mannions that appear to belong to the Western Atlantic modal haplogroup, abbreviated as WAMH. A few have further branch tested with the L1308 SNP, dated to about 600 AD. It appears that some of these Y-related Mannions, at least after Cromwell, occupied West Galway. More may be in Sligo, Mayo, and Roscommon. More Mannion men need to be tested from there. This may be the haplogroup where there is some confusion between Mannion and Mangan in records. Second, there are 8 Mannion-related men in the 3655 branch. It appears that some of them are carrying men known as Mannings, but are Mannions. Third, there is another branch, CTS 4466, of which 6 members in the project share this mutation. They may be Mannings, but join the project. There are 10 other ungrouped M269 Mannion or Manning who haven't sufficiently tested to be regrouped or refined into a lineage. These additional lineages or family groupings can be viewed on the Mannion Surname Project page, as you see in the window. In addition to the earlier Mannion Y-DNA results discussed, there are some additional Mannion Project members belonging to other distinct lineages whose results place them in a different branch or family grouping. While somewhat speculative, one Mannion from East Galway tests with haplogroup I M223 results. This is a common haplogroup in Scotland. The only explanation I've come up with so far is he may represent someone whose ancestor in the medieval period was a Gallowglass member of the clan. There are additional members of the Mannion Surname Project whose connections are through Mannion or Manning autosomal matching. Some share the same haplogroup because of ancient ancestors, but ended up on a different surname path. Whether in the project or in your company results, testing provides matches that are compared by the amount of shared DNA expressed as centimorgans. These matches are displayed in your kit results. Autosomal DNA provides genetic matches who share sufficient DNA in common that can be used to trace common ancestors back to about 4 to 6 generations. Being able to identify who is the common ancestor is best accomplished by combining DNA with your genealogy or ancestry tree. With regard to the project, autosomal DNA testers, 241 of the 258 project members have tested their autosomal DNA. The remainder have done other tests. 136 of these Family Finder members tested at Family Tree DNA, while 105 autosomal DNA transfer members came from Ancestry, MyHeritage, and 23andMe. So the free transfer has been very successful for gaining Mannion Project members to aid research, and I recommend that you transfer if tested. Project member DNA results include 49 Mannion, 17 with Mannion with one N, 29 with Manning surname, of which many are surname changes from Mannion, then 163 various other surnames who have a Mannion ancestor or relationship. Since many members appreciate the different estimates of ethnic and geographic origins they receive, some test with other companies for ethnicity and matches. Significant improvements have been made by all the companies over the last few years, and many prefer Ancestry's ethnicity results. Collaborating with your matches you receive is best when you have a robust family tree with more than a narrow pedigree. So members should try to include at least siblings, if not descendants, of the great and second great grandparents, for example. You can help to understand a match with descendants of ancestors whose name might have changed, in particular through marriage. Without an expanded tree, your genetic matches may not be recognized. Getting known relatives to test will further help understand your matches. Family Tree provides a unique linking tool where another known relative who is tested can be used to help sort your matches between the mother's side and the paternal side. As mentioned earlier, mitochondrial DNA follows the mother's line exclusively. Mitochondrial DNA, as it's often abbreviated, was the first ancestral DNA identified and traceable. Slow mutations limit its use for genealogy. I do not recommend mitochondrial DNA testing without research and or consulting a genetic genealogist. There are some other options to enhance your understanding of the maternal line. Maybe explore that first. This map represents the trace of mtDNA evolution and migrations from testing of ancient DNA samples to the dominant current day locations. Most Irish and Mannion mtDNA is haplogroup H. You'll note H on the map in Western Europe, and a resource called upedia.com would be one place in which to get additional information. This slide provides a little more detail about our 46 members who have done an mtDNA test. 4 with the Mannion surname with their H's and 1 K, 9 Manning surnames, many H's with some J, U haplogroups, and then 33 various surnames with various mitochondrial haplogroups. So slow mutation times limit the use for genealogy, but it can be used for sorting some issues. Specialized use and interpretation, I think, is required. It can be helpful for adoptees and those with an unknown mother, and if used, it should be done along with other tests. Testing mitochondrial DNA alone has limited value. While these Mannion mitochondrial DNA results are hard to read, this can be accessed on the Mannion project page. Based upon the female-specific mitochondrial results, I've identified 14 different groupings within 7 haplogroups, with some members sharing the same mitohaplogroup and others are unique. The results are dominated by mitochondrial mitochondrial haplogroup H, which is the most common maternal haplogroup in Western Europe. Your family tree could be the answer to how many of your DNA matches are related to you. I notice many project members do not have a tree connected to their kit. In some cases, they may have a good family tree on Ancestry, MyHeritage, or Family Tree Maker, but not on their kit. If you need help with your tree, let an admin know, but a transfer of your genealogy software, GEDCOM, can be easy. It can be a missed opportunity to determine how you're related to your match, or you could be a brick wall for your match who may be able to determine how you are mutually related. To help, Family Tree provides for adding your tree to your DNA kit. Privacy settings are available to share with everyone. Your matches are not at all. I recommend sharing with matches. Often the names of your most distant ancestors and their locations can be a key to making sense of your matches and others. Please enter those. With regard to your tree, a narrow pedigree is often going to miss making a connection to descendants of your great ancestors. Add all lines that you can. Further and last on the slide, if any of your relatives have tested and are linked in your tree, you'll be able to get further help in your matches sorted between paternal and maternal lines. So with regard to the Mannion Surname Project, I'd like to make some recommendations. First of all, to join the Mannion Surname Project and others appropriate to your surname, to your interests, and you can discover those at Family Tree DNA. I'd like support for additional male Mannion Y testing that will further aid understanding of the connection to paternal ancestors and help describe recent medieval branches since the clan was formed. Continue to test autosomal DNA for close relatives to increase understanding your matches. If you do a Y37 test, that's a great start. Then please consider advanced testing and an upgrade later, if not when you order your test. That is for Y111 and SNPs or SNP pack to determine your branch and how closely you're related to other Mannions. But ask for advice. You don't want to go off and do a SNP pack off the bat without knowing which SNP pack is most appropriate for you. And I would say only order mitochondrial DNA after research and consulting about alternatives to answer your genealogy questions. I'd like to mention that the Mannion Project administration doesn't happen on its own. It does not happen at Family Tree DNA, but they do provide the platform and guidelines. But administration is all done by volunteers. I, Jim Hollarn, serve as the principal administrator of the project. We have significant experience among our admins. I'll mention that I've done DNA testing at Family Tree DNA, Ancestry, 23andMe, MyHeritage, and Living DNA. I've done some other advanced testing and did another test with another company that didn't seem to be worth the bother, but I wanted to see what they had to offer. In particular, I can advise on Y-DNA and SNP testing and results as well as the Big Y. And we have excellent supporting volunteers as co-administrators. Dr. Joe Mannion in East Galway, whose knowledge of medieval history is always a benefit. John Meara in Australia is active there. Peter Mannion over in Rosmuck in West Galway has been very helpful with Mannions and others to test. And then Susan Nelson, who recently moved to Oregon. She has been researching for years in an effort to determine the ancestral location in Townland for her early James Mannion ancestor, who left before good records of his birth and parents. It's been quite a journey, as it might have also been for yourself. She is hoping to close the gap through her participation in the project and DNA testing with Family Tree DNA, as well as her testing at Ancestry and expertise in using their tools, such as Throughlines. The admins are familiar with DNA testing, GetMatch, and various genealogy and social media sites, so feel free to contact us for assistance and recommendations. Our emails are on the Mannion Surname Project About page. Well, we're almost done, but I wouldn't want to leave without being able to extend a thank you for being a part of the Mannion clan, the biggest Mannion family tree, and I hope also for being a member or a future member of the Mannion Surname Project, and also give a consideration to the Mannion Clan Genealogy and DNA Facebook group. And please, if you join that group, answer the Please answer the 3 questions we ask of you in order to be approved for membership. This ends the Mannion DNA and presentation and the project DNA summary. If you haven't tested or joined the Mannion Surname Project, please consider doing so. Thank you for your kind attention. For any questions or additional information, you may contact any of the admins or myself at my email, Jim Hollarn, hollarnj@cs.com. I have 2 supplemental slides to follow if you care to review those. The first is the current sale price for the test at Family Tree DNA. Ancestry also has a summer sale, and other companies may be offering a sale as well. The second slide is regarding projects in the Mannion Project generally at Family Tree DNA. Well, now that everyone wants to run out and get a DNA test, I thought I would mention the fact that this period of time in August, many of the DNA companies have sales on for DNA testing. If you're going to test an autosomal test, I'd recommend probably doing Ancestry first and then doing the free transfer. But that test is also available at Family Tree DNA. If you were doing an upgrade, for example, and your test results or your DNA is already in the lab at Family Tree DNA, that's not necessarily a bad recommendation. And then for any Y DNA testing, start out with Y37. If you haven't tested before and you don't have any relatives that you know of that have tested or are likely to have tested, then we can decide from there what kind of upgrade or what kind of SNP pack you might do to further refine your DNA results and build on your family tree history in that regard. So that is pretty much the sale prices for Family Tree DNA. Please feel free to check out other companies, Ancestry in particular for autosomal DNA. They have some fairly good features. The Mannion Project has grown, but if your surname is Mannion or not, there are over 10,000 projects which you can join through Family Tree DNA. Projects fall into 3 major categories: by surname, by geography, and by DNA haplotype. They are free and you can join more than one project. However, some have more strict criteria than others. Some are Y DNA surname only. The projects provide an organized way of identifying and grouping members with common results and ancestry, provide admin tools and other resources. They include knowledgeable admins who support members to get the best benefits of their DNA test. They are all administered by volunteers who are interested in the results and are not Family Tree DNA employees.